power is used to get a current of 800 milliamp across a 20 kilo ohm resistor. So we look at a question like this, and we say we've got power is what it's asking us for. Current is 800 milliamps. Current is abbreviated I. And we might immediately notice this isn't exactly an SI unit because it does have a metric prefix there that we'll want to fix. And resistance, R, is also not an SI unit. It's got a metric prefix, so we'll need to deal with that. But okay, we can deal with that. We can deal with metric prefixes. The kilo means 1,000, so this is 20,000 ohms if I want it as an SI unit. The current is 800 milliamps. Milli means 1,000th, so it's 800 thousandths of an amp, which reduces to 8/10 or 0.8 amps. Now this is in SI units. So that's one little problem taken care of. So we've got P, we've got I, and we've got R. And if we look at all of our formula pyramids, if we have the standard formula pyramids, we might not have this formula. Those of you who have more advanced formula pyramids, you might actually have one that has P, I, and R. And you might have a formula pyramid that shows you that P is equal to I squared times R. You may actually have that formula pyramid. But let's say you don't have that advanced formula pyramid. Which is too bad, because if you had that one, P equals I squared over R, you just plug in I squared. 0.8 times 0.8 is 0.64 times 20,000. Then you just plug that into your calculator, you get an answer. And what would that be? 128, I think, if I'm doing my mental math properly. But let's see. Let's say we don't have that. We're stuck. We're doing the test and we don't have the formula we need. Well, let's look at a formula that's close. I say P is equal to I times V. The thing that's stopping me from being able to use this is I don't have V. I don't know what the voltage is. But here's the thing, I can work it out. Because I do know I do know R, and I do have a formula pyramid that relates I, V, and R together. And if I want to solve for voltage, volts are equal to I times R. And there's two ways I can do this. I can solve for volts and then plug it in here. Or I could actually even build this equation. Algebra is kind of cool this way, and that if I have P equals I times V, but I know that V is equal to I times R, every place I see a V, I say it's I times R. But I times R, we just abbreviate I times I as I squared. P is equal to I squared R. Guess what? We just built this formula. But if we like working with numbers instead of liking working with algebra, let's just say I'm going to take a little detour and solve for V. V is equal to I times R. I is equal to 0.8 amps. R is equal to 20,000 ohms. 0.8 times 20,000 is the same as 8 times 2,000, which is the same as 16 times 1,000, if I'm doing mental math. So that's my voltage. This is a kind of crazy amount of voltage, 16,000 volts. Don't stick your tongue to that. But we do now have I that we can plug in. We get 0.8 times 16,000, which is, when we plug it into a calculator, if we don't like our mental math, we can do that. We get 12,800 watts. Okay? Which means, I did this wrong earlier. Because 0.8 times 0.8 is 0.64. 1,000. I just missed out a couple zeros.